everybody. It's the weekly Pele report for December 11th, 2024. Not too many of these 2024 Pele reports left. Oh man, what is going on? I'm just out here in the field, Sun's in Sagittarius. We're coming up to a full moon. Full moon at 23 degrees, 53 seconds. 53 minutes. Sorry about that. It's on Sunday. So yep, she's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't know if you've seen her. Looking very beautiful. Very beautiful. And it's really something to have. I mentioned it last week, but Venus opposite Mars is exact tomorrow. So, that's like a full Venus compared to Mars. Got a full moon, so Sun opposite Moon and Venus opposite Mars at the same time. Woo, baby. That's what I'm going to be talking about. Okay. Nice that tomorrow also Mercury is sextile Venus. Okay, so, that is great because that also indicates, of course, that Mercury is trine to Mars. And in addition to the full moon, it's also very nice, in some ways that the moon, first of all, it conjuncts Uranus tomorrow, going through Taurus. Okay, Friday goes into Gemini, and then in late Gemini, okay, the sun is in conjunct Uranus at the same time that the moon is full on Sunday. Big day Sunday. Not only the full moon, sun in conjunct Uranus, but Mercury stations to go direct. Yes. And I'm sure that we are all looking forward to that, but I'm going to be speaking to that a little bit, actually, in today's report. And then, of course, the Sunday after that full moon, she goes into Cancer and over onto Leo by Tuesday. So I'm just going to find a little spot over here and have a seat and talk at you. All right, what's going on out there? First things first, business first, baby. You saw it at the beginning, the astrology of 2025. It is going to be, what do I say, a colossal year of change. Oh, por Dios. Wow. 2025 is packed with some major, major transitions. I'm going to do a 4-hour look into your planetary aspects coming up January 5th. Mark your calendars. Click the link below. Find out more about it. A little worksheet where you put your planets in with the transiting planets, and then I talk about them, and yeah, it's going to be very unique. I don't think there's anything like it out there, so check it out. I hope to see you, and yeah, it's what's going to be happening. Well, Mars is retrograde right through December, right through January, right up until February 24th. Okay, this is a flow. It's not like 25 is separate from 24 or 26. We are in a flow. It's a big river flow. And there's Saturn entered Pisces, okay, quite some time ago. Pluto entered Aquarius in 2023. So these are big, deep, deep changes. And I just want to reiterate, we are reincarnating infinite soul beings that chose this time of the huge change for all of humanity to incarnate, because we are the change. We are part of the change, and we want to be bringing the change. So it's all about, and even today's mantra, it's about truth. The truth shall prevail. In the end, the truth is the only thing that can prevail. So falsehood falls away, and it has a lot to do with what's going on now with the sun in Sagittarius. which wants to expand our consciousness to understand the truth and the meaning of life and the natural laws governing the evolution of life. Super beautiful. And Venus traveling through Aquarius, the sign of science. And science is after, right, another, even, the highest form of truth. Not so philosophical in beliefs and ethics and morals, but now with Aquarius, we get into just, mathematics and physics, and this is just the way it is. It's not good, bad, or ugly. It just is. And then Pisces, of course, just like accepts and flows with all of it that is. So I want to talk about the above and the below, the inside and the outside, the macrocosm and the microcosm, because these oppositions, right, really bring this up. And especially I want to talk about Venus opposite Mars. Now, there was a conjunction of Venus conjunct Mars last February, like February 23rd. I mean, it's been almost a year since the seeds were sown of the masculine and feminine expression for this year that you would like to see in your chart. It happened in Aquarius, just about the same place where Venus is now. Within a degree, there was that same conjunction. I was looking at the Sabian symbols for it. Amazing that Mars and Venus come into conjunction, right? Venus goes all the way around and does this retrograde in Leo, if you remember last summer, and comes back in the same time it takes Mars to come all the way down and opposite. I don't know if you've been listening to me for a long time. I was down in Tulum at that time, and I read the myth of Psyche and Eros. And it's true that this feminine Psyche had to go through, right? Once she dripped wax, on Eros and woke him up, and she had agreed not to view, not to see him, not to look at him. She made a promise. And yeah, there's a promise, truth, honesty, Sagittarius. This is all coming around to us right now. And what do we have here? Now we have this situation of, right, Venus has gone and traveled. And she looked for Eros because he disappeared after she did that. And she went on a long journey, and she ended up in the temple of Aphrodite, and had to do some very strenuous, difficult tasks, for which Gaia, the earth, look at Mother Nature, the ants came and helped her, and the eagle came and helped her, and everything, came to the aid of the feminine here, okay, and there was a beautiful, happy ending. There was a happy marriage. Eros and Psyche, yes, got married together and lived forever, still to this day on Mount Olympus. But what does this bring up? And I also think of the full moon. This full moon happening in Gemini, not just the twins of Castor and Pollux, but there's also Helen, right? The beautiful, and Clytemnestra, okay? The shadow side of the feminine. So we have that quadruple, quadrangle happening in the sign of Gemini if you look at the constellation in the night sky. So we have this contrast, the masculine and the feminine, the light and the dark. The upper chakras, okay, are, Aquarius, Sagittarius, fire and air. It's objective. The observer, the witness, is the third eye. So here we have Venus and the sun, okay, in fire and air. And, and it's like, I think of last week's Pele report. That was so Aquarius, looking far down at the river. Leo would be at the river. I usually am at the river. Sometimes I'm in the river. right? There's this, Venus in Aquarius opposite Mars in Leo. This is, above the horizon is Libra to Pisces. So we've got the Sun and Venus in the upper two quadrants, the upper hemisphere of objective, looking at the whole big, wide, broad picture of science and philosophy. So here's this powerful, let's look at this Venus in Aquarius, feminine energy that is mature, that is objective, non-attached, ready to step into the future and go beyond. And it's in this opposition to our masculine, to this Mars energy, the lion of desire, of passion, of personal fun, joy, fulfillment, risk-taking, adventure, gambling, roar, below the horizon, the personal inner world. And so here this is, this is a time of really our relationships, and particularly our sexual relationships. Mars and Venus has to do with our sexuality and opening up, yes, to our true nature. And our sexual nature is, right, an intrinsic part of being human. And so we can go up, out, and away, but our bodies bring us down. Our diet, our need for food, our desire for sex, our, just walking, just moving on planet Earth brings us out of this objective, celestial thought sphere into the sphere of the animals and the plants and the minerals. And here we have Mars retrograde, right? Instead of being, impulsive, instinctive, outward, it gets that impulse and goes, whoa, let me reflect on that impulse. Let me remember, okay, what happened the last time I, went out, to initiate or penetrate or start or begin. So there is this reflection going on inside. This is such a reflective time. Mercury is retrograde. Mars is retrograde. And now we've got Venus up here in Aquarius, reflecting back to us. So this is a time of really coming into what is true for me. What is my truth? And it's easy to say, it's like, oh yeah, truth, yeah, everybody wants it. But, it's gnarly. Sometimes the truth hurts. And reflecting on our desires, on Mars, on what I really want. Sexually, financially, Mars is also money. We can get into the little taboos here, right, of money, sex, and death, with this opposition, and really look at, it's money is energy, right? Our passion, our sexual desires, this is energy. Where are we putting our energy? How consciously are we directing our energy? And how true to ourselves are we being with our choices, actions, expenditures, relationships, and energy? This is a very important time. The north node of the moon is in its final degrees of Aries. It's going to go into Pisces. It's been a year and a half that it's been time for us to get in touch with our own instinctive desire, Martian nature. Am I truly satisfied with this relationship? Am I satisfied with this job? I want to be honest with myself, right? Do I, enjoy my life? Or do I need to make some changes? And it's really something that relationships, it's almost like as human beings, I've said this a million times, right? It's almost like we need relationship. We need mirrors. We need other people because sometimes we tell ourselves stories. It's a coping mechanism. Oh, I don't really like this job, but I'm not going to think about it. I really don't like what's going on in this relationship. I'm not happy or fulfilled or, feeling passionate anymore or whatever, but and we suppress and we deny our truth. We deny our inner reality. But now this Mars is coming retrograde saying, look inside, look inside, look inside. Yeah? Are you enjoying life? Are you having fun? Are you expressing? Are you authentic? Are you transparent? Or are you faking it? Are you pretending? Are you lying to yourself? Are you keeping secrets and not telling, your partner or your boss or your employees or your mother or your father or your kids who you really are and what you really want in life? And maybe how frustrated you are, or how angry or upset you are that it's not going the way you thought. This is what 2025 is going to be about. I'm telling you, I'm calling it, the year of the end of illusion. 2025 is the end of illusion, and this begins now. So, and it begins with truth. It begins with accepting and owning and loving that, hey, I'd like to change this. No, I don't like that. And I'm not a bad person, and I'm not wrong if I'm not, satisfied or happy. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, these are basic needs. So this can be a great week. This can be a week where, it's all fire and air. Sun and Mars are in fire, right? Mercury's in fire. Venus and the full moon are in air. Fire needs air. Air feeds the fire, and the fire burns bigger and brighter, and it's like illumination. This is who I am, and this is what I want. I want a party. It's gonna be fantastic. I mean, this weekend. I mean, it's busy. I mean, the moon coming around into Gemini, okay, and then Jupiter is there, and I mean, there's. And Sagittarius is, like all over the place. And Venus is, the social butterfly, and Aquarius is like, yeah. and Mars and Leo, even though it's retrograde, it's not going to just it's not like we don't do anything, for months while Mars is retrograde. No, cut it out. I mean, I know people with Mars retrograde. They're still walking, talking, breathing, acting, creating, doing, blah, 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 blah. But in a very rebellious, individual way. So Mars retrograde is very much in touch with their own true desires. Yeah. And they're different than the norm or the consensus. And they're proud of it, and they stand in it, and it's so. I mean, this is very cool. Mercury retrograde. I think differently than the majority. Okay, then I don't think normal. I don't follow the same lines, or paths of consciousness that other people do, and I'm proud of it. I'm an individual, right? And I think my own way and my own thoughts. So this is a great time for being true to ourselves, true to our partners, true to the world, owning who we are, what we're attracted to, what we are repulsed by, and not being ashamed or feeling guilty or bad, but this self-acceptance. And it's like, yeah, I am going to do it. Now, there are sometimes issues. There are sometimes problems with this. The opposition. Because what? Well, when we're maybe still bullshitting ourselves, or we're still denying or avoiding or pretending that, we're faking that we're happy while we're, doing all kinds of distractions, or, just staying on the screen or ignoring our feelings, we have other people. We have our partners, we have business partners, personal partners, intimate sexual partners. The more intimate, the closer they see us, the more they see our blemishes and our marks and our, niches in our armor, right? And they'll point out the truth to us. So this can also be a time where there may be some arguing, or there may be some debating, or there may be some shadow work involved. The full moon has to do with illumination. What happens when you go down in the garage and it's dark? You flip the light on. All right, well, you see everything in that garage. For better or for worse, maybe it's dirty, cluttered. There's a bunch of cockroaches, or things you didn't, So when you turn on the light, when you have the full moon, when you have Venus opposite Mars, you're going to maybe see some things. And this is the inconjunct to Uranus. Surprise, shock, like, oh, wow, yeah, you're right. I didn't talk about that. I didn't share that feeling. I didn't speak about that need. I didn't want to upset, our dinner conversation. I didn't want to mess up the party. Blah, 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 blah. But so there can also be this confrontation that happens with oppositions, where other people come up, and, give us, some truth about ourselves that maybe is not so pleasant to hear. But like the mantra says today, right, there's detours and there's construction, and even, it's time to slow down. And when you slow down and you get the week of, the last year of the week off, and you don't have to work and you're at home, yes, you can distract yourself with the remote control and Spotify and da-da-da-da-da-da. Or you can sit in, some silence, stillness, meditation, do a Vipassana yoga retreat or something. And, but really come into the truth. Open the third eye, the observer, and you will see. This is what brings us transcendence. This is what makes us different, yes, than other forms of consciousness, other forms of life. The Sabian symbol for the 24th degree of Gemini is children skating over a frozen pond. This is for the full moon coming up. The use of inhibiting circumstances for the development of character and a transcendent approach to the environment. Winter symbolizes darkness and the restrictions imposed upon living things by cold. Yet the developing mind can learn to use restrictions and the disciplining power of cold external responses to rise above the outer freeze and to grow in strength and skill. Humanity is nature rising above the cyclic oscillation of natural polarities. Wow. An opposition is a polarity. The moon's nodes, Aries, Libra, Full moon, sun, moon, Venus, Mars. These are polarities, but you get what he's saying here. Humanity is nature rising above the cyclic oscillation of polarities. Whoa. Our way is often the via negativa. We learn rhythmic freedom. Skating. Skating is rhythmic freedom. By using the most binding situations, ice, to demonstrate our transcendent capacity for pleasure and self-mobilization. You can sit at home in front of the fire and feel miserable and sorrowful and have your negative thoughts of how dark it is and blah, 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 blah. Or you can put on your scarf and put on your skates and get out there and skate. Here, this symbol presents us with a special technique. It is a mental technique, inasmuch as it is through mind that we can transcend the entropy of the universal process of existence. We see here indeed our triumph over entropy. It's the creative imagination. It's the creative use of our mental picturing that we can rise above the limitations imposed upon us by the weather, by the cold, by the dark, by the by the elements. Right? Dogs and cats can't skate. It is through our mind and our thoughts and our thinking that we have formed and shaped metal into blades and put them onto boots so that we could slide across the surface of the ice. You see what I'm saying? I mean, all of technology, this is going to come up big time in the astrology of 2025. All of technology and the advancements that we have made with our mind and thinking are very, very liberating. Venus in Aquarius. Loving Venus technology. Aquarius. I wouldn't be talking to you today. You wouldn't be getting a Bailey report if it wasn't for some pretty smart fellows and fellers and sisters. Wow. Sometimes, man. My life is under construction. There are detours here and there. But as all I want is to know what's true, I'm fine. As it's everywhere. Whether you're stuck in traffic, behind a snowplow, snowed in, or it's too pitch black and dark and cold or whatever, or you don't have any money because, you bought too many Christmas presents or you blew it, earlier in the year. It's this end of year, the taxes come up and, it's like we're all getting this kind of like reminders, look back over, retrograde Mercury, look back over this last year. What did you do? What did you not do? Time to pay the piper. It's like, right? So even like when we're restricted, you're at a stoplight, you got a moment to reflect. And through that reflection, you can come to a deeper truth. You can open up, you can accept another level of truth. So truth is everywhere we look. And our unconscious soul takes us here, takes us there. We think it's an accident. We think it's serendipity. We think it's synchronicity. It is synchronicity. The soul works with synchronicity. We are exactly where we need to be every moment of our lives for our soul to evolve. If that's in the hospital, if that's in jail, if that's, in bed with your lover, if that's it's all perfect for our awareness and our evolution towards transcendence. So let's find truth, the truth of every moment, the truth in every relationship, the truth, in our bank books, the truth in our bodies and our health. I mean, what can we say, man? Especially nature. Nature is the ultimate teacher of truth. Love this grass. One more time, and it says, my life is under construction. There are detours here and there. But as all I want is to know what's true, I'm fine. 'Cause it's everywhere. Namaste. Aloha. So much love. And check out this little blurb about 2025. I see you later, alligator.